Good afternoon, everybody. Imagine this. You go to a restaurant, local restaurant in the area, with either maybe you or a friend and you're a smoker. You walk into the place and you ask the maitre d' or you ask the people who are going to seat you if you want a smoking section. And they go, oh, sorry, we don't have a smoking section. We only have non-smoking. You sit there yourself or your friend ask, why can't I smoke in this place? It's a restaurant. Why can't I smoke? What's the danger? So I want to smoke. What's it going to do to the people around me? Why is it so dangerous? Well, today I'm going to go into why it is dangerous. And I will answer this first by explaining what tobacco products are, the two different types, what they are, how they're made, and then I'll go into the dangers of them. Tobacco products have been around for a very long time. They were first brought to England by Sir Walter Raleigh after his first trip to America by Native Americans. There are two types of tobacco. First is smokeless tobacco, I will go over. And this, of course, enters the body through the soft tissues of the mouth. And how it does this is when they produce a product, they actually add little micro, you barely can't even see it, micro bits of fiberglass into the tobacco. And what that does is that makes micro cuts into the soft tissues of the mouth, which allows the nicotine to thus get to the brain a lot faster than if it just had to be absorbed naturally. Another thing to note about chewing tobacco is that it's usually made up of the scraps left behind from the process of making regular smoking tobacco. So if you think about it, think about this old guy with a broom sweeping up the stuff on the floor, getting it all together, and then putting it in cans, putting it on the shelf and selling it. Doesn't sound very good, does it? So that's, in a nutshell, that is what chewing tobacco is. Now, smoking tobacco is the one that's most common, most people know about. You see it in movies, you see it in TV, people light up a cigarette before they kill somebody in an action flick or something like that. And that, of course, is used by inhalation. You take whatever smoking, the cigarette, the pipe, the cigar, and you inhale the smoke from the product. And that's the one that's most dangerous, not only to the individual, but also to the public around, which I will go into momentarily. Now, tobacco leaves for smoking tobacco, and even for chewing tobacco, they're cured in these big ovens. And what usually causes the problem, what makes the product so toxic, not to mention just nicotine itself, which is also poisonous to the body, but what makes it even more, what makes it really cancerous, of course, is the chemicals that they use to cure the tobacco, to prepare it for creating a product. Now that you know the different types of tobacco and how they work, let's go into how they affect the body and what are the dangers associated with that product. The first, of course, I'll go back into is chewing tobacco. Now, if you remember how I said they put the fiberglass into the product to let it get into the system faster, that is also part of the problem because it does irritate the tissues of the soft lining of the mouth, which can cause cancer because you have those carcinogens sitting in the mouth, and after time, if you keep it in the same place, eventually it can lead to cancer because you have that direct contact there with those carcinogens. This, of course, is one of the most dangerous forms of cancer that is there. Most of the time, if you're diagnosed with mouth cancer, by the time it's noticeable, by the time your dentist or your doctor say, hey, something's going on, and you get the biopsy, it's usually in the latter stages. And if it doesn't kill you, it will disfigure you. Most of the time, it's either most of your jaw has to be removed or the top of your mouth has to be removed. It's not a pretty picture. So it's definitely something to be aware of if you are using that product. Smoking tobacco, of course, everybody knows the dangers. It's glamorized in movies again, very sophisticated. But if you think about it, those same people who smoke, let's like 50 years ago, you had famous people, you had John Wayne, Lucille Ball, even Walt Disney, who smoked. And you look at all of them, and a lot of them died young. You think, no, they were old, but they probably could have lived a lot longer had they not smoked. And it was all smoking-related deaths, heart attack, cancer, you name it. And there's even more if you go into history and look at it. Each year, smoking kills more people. Not just smoking, but chewing tobacco. Tobacco itself can kill more people than AIDS, drinking, drug abuse. It's the most common cause of death in America. And another danger, the reason why we have the laws against smoking in public places, of course, is the secondhand smoke. That smoke that you release after you exhale has just as many toxins, maybe even more than the initial inhale. And if you're hanging around, if your kids are hanging around it and they're inhaling that smoke, they might as well be smoking along with you. You might as well just give them a cigarette because they're getting the same toxins as you are. So, in conclusion, I've given you a brief glimpse of tobacco, its history, how it's made, what's it made of, how it affects the body. Not only that, but I've also explained to you how it affects not only the person that uses the product, but the person around that person who happens to be sitting next to them or in the same room. Don't even have to be really close. If you're in an area that doesn't have very good ventilation, they could be in the next room and still smelling that smoke and getting that. So it's very important. And if you don't do it for yourself, at least do it for the people who are around you. If you decide not to quit, that's fine. Just take it outside so that the people around you can live in a smoke-free environment. Thank you for your time.